My name is Precious Jewel, or Chef Queen Precious Jewel. I am the owner and executive chef of Indulge Catering, LLC, here in Durham, North Carolina. We are traveling chefs as well as event caterers for universities, weddings, as well as corporate events. So I am new to your group, but I wanted to come live and kind of show you a little bit about who we are, what we do, and also at the same time do a really cool indulgent cooking demo for y'all. We specialize in indulgent experiences. It's myself as well as my sous chef and my wife and co-owner, Jacqueline White. She is actually holding the camera for me, so she's able to see if there are any questions or anything of that nature that you might have. I hope that people go ahead and log on and be able to see this so that you can see a little bit about what we do, and then also kind of, like I said, to explain to you what it is to be a traveling chef, and what do we mean when we say the indulgent experience. So give a few more minutes, let other people come on, and then I will let you know what all of this beautiful indulgence is right here. So like I said, please feel free to type in any of your questions, do any of your comments, and I'll try to be as informative as I can. And any questions that I can't see, or if I'm in the mix of stirring a pot, Jacqueline, who is holding the camera, will go ahead and answer it for me. So we're going to begin. I got my oven on 375. I don't know if you saw the post, but we're doing an apple Tarte Tatin, which is really cool for an open face apple pie. I don't want to dumb it down, but so much, because it really is this really dope, awesome, decadent, indulgent thing, apple pie that I'm gonna show you how we do. And this is kind of indicative of the type of desserts that we do for our personal chef experiences. So let's begin. So I have some apples already prepped for you, but I'm going to show you. I like to use a hard apple or more firmer apple because we're going to be pan searing this and also baking this. So you want an apple that's going to stand up so it doesn't turn into mush. All about textures on your indulgent experience. So we have an apple here. These are our gala apples. And so my trusty handy apple corer / slicer is going to make quick work of this apple for us. So kind of situate it. And this is more so behind the scenes stuff that if you have a personal chef experience, a little elbow grease in there, you'll get to see. So it makes quick work of your apple. My core, just go ahead and toss that. And then I have my apples already out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and slice the apples again, because this is your original thickness. I don't really want that. That's not a good bite for a cute little personal chef experience. But this is a better bite. So we have these out. And with this recipe, I also am going to do a beautiful, what we call a schmear on a plate, or make a sauce that I can put on our plate, so that makes the plating beautiful as well. When we have our traveling chef services, we come with everything. So we come with locally sourced plates, food. I bring my seasonings. And you have 2 chefs, depending upon the party size. You might have more helpers to help you help us prepare for serving, but that's what we do when we do our personal chef experience. So the menu is customized for you. So I'm going to make my caramel sauce. So caramel I make from scratch. Caramel, depending upon where you're from is how you say it. So I'm going to I have a cup of sugar here with some butter, and I have some lemon juice powder. And what I'm going to do is kind of melt that all down so that I make a beautiful dark rich caramel that's going to go on the bottom of our pan. And then when I flip it for the Tarte Tatin, it's going to be on the top and caramelize my apples. So let's get this popping for you. So I turn on my heat. I get some butter in the pan. So Jacqueline really loves this recipe because it allows me to cook with butter. And usually we do not cook too much with butter. We do use oil, but it is this right here. I want a silky caramel, so I'm gonna indulge a little bit. Have some butter in my pan, and then I have my sugar. And then I have 1 teaspoon of my lemon juice powder. You can use just lemon juice, but I like using the powder sometimes. And you want to make sure your heat is on medium. And I'm going to whisk this about. I want my sugar to begin to melt, but I also want my butter to melt. And this is a pan that I typically use when I make caramel, so it has some scorchedness to it. I've well used this pan. And a trick that I like to use is, because I am making an apple crisp, I want to have my caramel be a little bit of appley. So I have some apple juice. And I just add a little teaspoon, excuse me, of apple juice in the bottom of my pan. Alright, so I'm going to let this go so that my caramel can begin to form. And the cool part about a personal chef experience is every ounce of your meal is individual. So I work with you to come up with a customized menu that will allow you to be the hostess and allow me to wow your guests with, you know, my culinary skills. All right, so I'm going to let this go, and I want to turn this down just a bit because I want it to brown, but I don't want it to burn. One of the keys about making caramel is you want to watch it because you don't want it to burn, because burnt caramel is never fun. And I'm going to take some salt. And typically when you do a tarte tatin, you're doing all of this inside of a pan that you can automatically put into your oven. But like I said, since we're doing this type of a personal chef experience, I would make these into individual size. So I have these beautiful little individual pots that I'm going to pull out so that you can have. Like I said, one of the great things about personal chef experience is my plates. So I like to have my plates be this wow factor as well, because you eat with your eyes, and that's the indulgent experience. So these beautiful stoneware that we have, this is what I'm going to use. And as my caramel begins to, the sugars begin to melt, my caramel begins to form, you'll see this beautiful color. Oh my gracious. Be very careful, this is extra hot. And then for me, I take a little splash of vinegar. And that's apple cider vinegar. Are you getting the theme right now? And here's where I also will add some of my flavors. So I'm going to add cinnamon and nutmeg in here. And if you're just joining us, my name is Chef Queen Precious Jewel with Indulge Catering here in Durham, North Carolina. We are traveling personal chefs as well as corporate and event caterers. So yes, we do weddings. We specialize in an indulgent experience and high-end catering. So we say we want you to indulge one bite, one plate, one meal at a time. Hi. So I'm making an apple tarte tatin, which is pretty much an upside down open faced apple pie. It's, you know, not to dumb it down, but so much, but that's pretty much what it is.
Caramel looks amazing.
Thank you. That voice you hear in the background is my Sous chef, co-owner, and wife, Jacqueline. She is the other half of Indulge Catering. All right, so this is what I'm looking for. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to transfer this into my lovely stoneware, and then I'm going to lay my apples on top. My oven is set at 375. That's the color I want. Ooh. So I'm pouring this into the bottom of my pans, my little stoneware. Alright, so be very careful. Like I said before, this is extremely hot. So this is where I take my apples that I have sliced down, and you're going to lay them in there. Now here's the fun part. This is all stuff that me as your chef would do for you. This is not something that you would do yourself, but I am letting y'all see this part because when you hire me for a personal chef experience, or to cater your wedding or any of your clients' weddings, this is stuff that I take pride in doing. Try not to get it on you because it's hot. Woo-hoo, that's hot. But this is all stuff that I take pride in doing. I take pride in how my client sees the final product. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing in my apples, shaking it around, making sure that beautiful caramel sauce that I made is on the bottom. A little bit about us. Indulge Catering has been around for about 6 years. We've been around for 6 years. Excuse me. We celebrate our 6th year in 2020. We are personal chefs, traveling chefs, so we come to you and provide this indulgent experience. We customize the menu for you, so you don't have to worry about anybody having any type of weird allergies. We take care of that. I am Muslim, so we do not cook any pork, and we do healthy, flavorful options.
That's enough apples.
That's enough apples?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we want them to cook down.
Yes. So these are going to go into the oven, and while this is in the oven, we're actually going to make, I'm going to leave this uncovered in the oven for about 10 minutes. But I'm actually going to make the 2 sauces that's going to go on the side using this awesome product called Agar Agar. So, just quickly put that in the oven. Clear off my counter and begin my sauce. Do we have any questions while... Awesome. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Great job, chef. Caramel smells amazing.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And this is the experience that you get when we come to your home and provide you with a personal chef experience.
Correct.
Personal chef experience can be anywhere from 2 guests and up.
Yes.
Most people want it to remain intimate, so they do between 2 and 14 at the most, so it can stay intimate.
So the next thing I'm going to do is make my apple schmear, or apple jelly that I'm going to put on the plate itself. So, like I said, I'm Muslim. I don't use gelatin, so I use Agar Agar. Agar Agar is plant-based. It is vegan, and Living Gen Agar Agar is my go-to product. So I make sure I have a cup of my fluid, so I'm going to turn this on. It is also keto-friendly, so anybody out there looking for keto-friendly options, have a cup of my fluid. That's your apple juice. And then I have a half a teaspoon of your agar agar goes in there. And then you whisk that together and you let it come to a boil. You want it to bring to a boil and then reduce it to a simmer. Once it brings to a boil, you reduce to a simmer for 1 minute.
You're gonna add a surprise in there for the party people?
I'm gonna add a surprise in there for the party people.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna add a little bit of my lemon. So I'm gonna add a half of teaspoon of lemon juice powder. And then where did it go?
It's over there. Where your apple juice was.
Oh, thank you. And because I want to have some color contrast, I am going to use some green food coloring. Oh gosh. So it's going to take my apple color to a different contrast. So you really only need 1 drop. Whew, that's it. Because I want a nice pretty green, not that icky, what in the world is this color green? Look at that. Woohoo!
Nice.
So what we're doing is a soft gel. So that's why I only use half a teaspoon of agar-agar. Let me just go grab one more thing. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I have to make sure of something. I misspoke. It's 1 teaspoon of agar, 1 TSP. I was like, something didn't sound right. So I'm going to let this go while my apples are in the oven.
It's starting to smell so delicious.
Thank you. That's that caramel and apple and nutmeg.
Mm-hmm.
I need to bring it to a hard boil. A hard boil means rolling rapids of fluid. All right. So this is, like I said, all stuff that we do outside of you really seeing this. As a personal chef, you'll see me at your stove. We'll interact with you. We come and we do customized menu cards. We do menu cards for all of our buffet or our catering jobs, but this is something more unique and tailored to just your event. We bring our plates, and we typically bring all plates except for your dessert plate, because a dessert we like to leave. So we leave you with this beautiful dessert on your plate so that you can do whatever you need to do during dessert time, or you can finish drinking wine with your guests. But we also offer full service catering. So if you need us to stay and provide you with bar service or wine service, or the tables, the chairs, or anything of that nature, we take care of that as well at Indulge Catering. So that's the sound you're looking for. That's your rapid boil. Stir it. And then I bring it down to low to let it simmer. And the reason why you do that is because agar-agar needs to be heated in order for it to activate its gelling properties. So that's going wonderfully. I'm going to take out my puff pastry, which is the topping for your Tarte Tatin.
I just love that word.
I love
Tarte
it. Tarte Tatin. Makes you feel fancy.
Yes.
What are you having? Tarte Tatin. So let's see. Actually, I'm going to use my silk pad for this. All right. Excellent. So I'm going to actually put on my gloves for this one, because when I'm working with pastry dough, I like to have my gloves on. Awesome. I hope this kind of gives y'all a little bit of who we are as Indulge Catering, what type of food we cook. So we specialize in Mediterranean, Italian, and what's called American flair. But I'm from the Bronx, New York, so I eat pretty much anything except for pork. And so that kind of is started my love for food. So I love to come up with unique menu options and cook that for my guests. So I have my puff pastry that has been defrosted a bit. This is not pastry I made. I purchased the puff pastry. I do love it. If you do have time to make it yourself, please by all means do. But we did not make this one ourselves. So this is going. Excellent. I'm going to put it on the back so that it can finish simmering while I bring out my tart so I can top it with my puff pastry. And what you want to do is have a fork nearby so that you can prick holes inside of your puff pastry. And the reason why you do that is because you don't want it to puff to the point where it's gotten this big, huge, billowy mess. You still want to have it be a nice, beautiful, crisp bottom. So I'm going to take out my tart. Ooh, that's so good. Look at that. See that juiciness on the bottom?
Oh, yeah.
Woohoo! So, this one and two. Alright. So I do a rough estimate of how big that's going to be, about half of this. Oh. Alright, so half per side. It's about a rough estimate. Cool. And then there's really no rhyme to reason to the way that you poke this. You just want to make sure that you've given it enough of aeration. So, like that. The holes that are in here. Can y'all see that? I hope y'all can see that. And then you're going to be very careful and kind of tuck it in like you would tuck in your sheets, because it's going to create like this little lip when you flip it over. Turn off my gelée. Do the same thing to the other one. All right. And what this is now going to do is going to allow for your apples to steam. It's going to get your caramel on the bottom all ooey gooey beautiful. And when you flip it over, wait till you see how caramelized those apples are. Awesome. So I'm going to let y'all see how this looks. Got my Most Def playing in the background. So this is what you're looking for. All right, so we're going to put this back in the oven for about 30 minutes to let my apples go. I'm going to cool down, finish and cool down my gelée, and then you'll see that this is going to be absolutely amazing. So put this back in the oven. 375, my oven is still on. So, personal chef experiences. Let's talk about that. Personal chef experiences usually last about 2 to 3 hours, depending upon, 3 hours, depending upon the intensity of your menu. And a lot of the prep work, we come in, we do a little bit beforehand, but it allows you to have two ways. Either you can interact with us as the chefs, asking questions, sitting at your table. We definitely will answer your questions. Or what you can do is just entertain your guests. Be in the other room and we'll time out your courses to come. Make sure your glasses stay full. Make sure your table is set beautifully. We'll provide you, if your package includes it, with flowers for your table. And that's the same thing with traveling chef experiences. So one of the things that we definitely love to do with traveling chef experiences is travel with you. So if you're going to be at a conference, if you're going to be at and have an Airbnb that you would like for us to come and provide you dinner with, please let us know. If you're going, you and your family, or if you're having a destination wedding or destination vacation and you want to have a chef along with you or chef-inspired meals for the week, we can do that meal prep for you and meal planning for you and cook your meals for you. One of the cool things we did for Own Your Story conference in Temecula, California, was we came and provided them breakfast, lunch, and dinner during their conference while they're at their Airbnb. So that's one of the really cool things that we have, or the packages that we have, should I say. Put this in the freezer. Let me get this container. So I'm getting a container for my gelée to let it cool. So you're just going to put this in the refrigerator to let it cool. You don't want to try to taste this right now. This is absolutely hot. So get that pretty green color. Beautiful apples. All right. It's going to taste just like a fresh apple.
Good stuff.
All right. So I'm trying to think of what other questions that people have asked to be answered. Any other questions you can think of, Jacqueline?
Let's think. What other questions have people asked? I think you've covered it, because people always ask, well, what do I need to have in my kitchen for you all when you arrive?
A working stove, a working sink.
We bring everything.
Everything.
We bring all the pots, pans, seasoning.
I prefer a countertop. No, working stove, sink. We really do bring everything for you, so you don't really have to worry. That's one of the Indulgent experiences. We curate or we put together a package of the plates that match everything for you. So that's definitely something that we take care of. What else?
Some people may want to know, how we have been able to pivot around personal chef experiences right now and during this time.
Oh, definitely.
Because we at this time do not provide.
No, we do not come in your house right now.
Yes.
Stay-at-home order is in full effect. Yes. So we do adhere by our local government guidelines. So we do not come in your home. However, we do provide the same experience, modified, should I say, outside of your home. So where we provide you with an Indulgent box. So inside of that box will be your 3-course meal. It'll be your customized menu cards, as well as a small keepsake that you can have to kind of commemorate the event. And so we do provide that. We drop it off with touchless delivery. The box is beautiful. It's not just some old janky box. So the Indulgent experience starts from outside of the box till when you open it up inside. And the meal does come in oven-safe containers. You heat up your meal and you go. Unless you are local enough to be able to have hot food delivered to you, and that's something that you want, then you would just take it out and put it on your plates and go. But we can provide that for any of our brunch items, our dinner items, lunch items. So that is something that we are doing now to help maintain our safety during this pandemic. And we also have Indulge at Home, which are meals that serve 4 people. So it is the same chef-inspired meals that we provide at your events, but now it serves 4 people, and it is oven-safe containers. And you can always contact us if you have more than 4 people. I grew up in a house of 6 kids, so there was 8 of us in the house. So we definitely do scale up our product for that. So I know that was one of the questions that we had on here.
Yeah.
Trying to think of what else. while we're waiting for this Tarte Tatin to finish. And I want to be mindful of your time as well. So what time is it?
We have about 32 more minutes.
32 more minutes? Okay, so cool. Yeah. All right. Awesome. So I'm trying to think of what else. This tartan is looking and smelling amazing. My gracious. Put this butter in the refrigerator. And the gelée is cooling.
Yes. Why don't you talk to the people about how we are able to stay on brand and the importance of staying on brand even throughout the pandemic, where we've all had to, well, majority of people have had to pivot into a different direction because, you know, most event specialists, there aren't any events. So all event specialists have had to pivot in some way.
Okay.
So can you please tell them about the importance about staying on brand?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so staying on brand. I think the important thing that you have to think about before that is, what is your avatar? Who is your avatar? So who is your ideal client? So making sure that you are just staying true to who you are and what you do. For us, more specifically in our arena, if there's certain things that we are event caterers. We provide personal chef experiences. So we don't anymore do a meal prep singular type of product. So a lot of our clients, we just made sure that we reached out to them and made sure that they understood they can still get the same chef-inspired meals as long as we can source the same ingredients. That's our lambs, that's our premium seafood, that's our locally sourced vegetables. So staying on brand means still being able to do that thing, still being able to provide the same level of service that your clients are looking for. And then still going after your avatar, keeping your marketing up to point, keeping in the face of the people. So that's another way that is important to stay on brand. I hope I'm answering the question.
Yeah.
Okay.
You did perfect. You did perfect. Yep. And
I don't know what's hot.
I got you a little bit.
It got me a little bit.
And can you just hit on pricing? Because I know some people. Well, I know that if you stay within your avatar, pricing is not an issue.
Yes. Because
your avatar knows what they're looking for, and they know that you have a quality in your service. Yes. So
I think it's just really knowing how low will you go and what is the value of your services. Because I know on here previously there was a young lady who spoke previously about, your clients are still out there. Your clients are still out there. It's just a matter of, is your marketing on point to get your clients and get the thing that you're doing. So it's not necessarily a matter of your price point having to be lowered, but understanding that, are you marketing to the right people that understand the price point? Because people are still out here going to eat. I'm speaking of 4-hour thing. People are still out here going to eat. People are still out here planning events. There's, you might not be able to do it in the same capacity, but once this is over, you are still going to have some sort of event. So just making sure that you are booking out and being forward thinking. So whereas a lot of people, think of building their business quarter by quarter or every 3 months, or maybe what am I doing in the next year? We do our vision boards and our vision plans and all this other good stuff. Now it's, what does it look like in the next 5 years? What adjustments does my business need to make in the next 5 years? And for us, it is looking at how can we safely post-COVID do buffets and feed people and stuff like that. So that's what I'm looking at. Staying on brand is still providing you with that indulgent experience, but safely. We already do sanitizer. We already are a category as far as the health department is concerned, but now how do I translate that even more for a client who maybe has never been to my event, but understands that I'm going to keep your health in top priority, because I am a germaphobe, and this is even more of dealing with that as well. So, yeah.
It's the old narrative. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Correct. Yes. And then also a really cool thing that you have to remember is that sometimes it is best to sit still. I think we talked about this on another chat that we do with our Couples in Conversation speaker series, is that you want to be able to be quiet if you need to be quiet. So sit still, work on your business, work in your business, instead of in your business. Yes. So what that means is that work on your systems, your processes, and everything of that nature versus working in your business, just churning wheels, trying to churn out stuff, especially if it's not your wheelhouse. If you're not a subject matter expert for certain things, then be very careful that you're not putting your brand behind things that are not in your wheelhouse. So that's really key. Really big.
That's right. That's like, the caterer trying to work in the business by doing
to go. Like some restaurants have shut down versus doing to go or pickups. And that's because that's not their model. Their business model is an elegant sit down meal. And if you've never done to go before, it is a beast to try to turn your business into a to go format. And so why try to make yourself be something that you're not? And so a lot of people have to realize that. And I think that in business, you will realize you don't want to jeopardize the future of your business for a temporary situation. And that's the main thing.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm not trying to jeopardize the future and the longevity of my business for a temporary situation. So,
Exactly.
The smell of apples is killing me right now because I really do want to. To take a bite of this tartane and it's not ready yet. So I'm trying to be like, oh.
Yeah, it smells amazing.
It smells amazing and tastes amazing. But I just, like I said, I want to make sure that there's no other questions or anything of that nature. And we'll look at the tartane and...
the tartane is still cooking. It's only been a few minutes. A couple minutes.
Okay. Well, I don't want to take up more people's time. So what I'm going to do is, if you have any questions about anything that we do, would like to talk about any upcoming events, and like I said, once again, we do travel. Indulge Catering LLC does travel as far as traveling chef services, as far as your weddings, destination events. We can provide that service for you. Reach out to us. Connect with us on social media. We are Indulge Catering LLC, or our handle is Indulge Catering NC on Instagram and Facebook. We are also on YouTube. A lot of our how-to videos, cooking demos are on YouTube, as well as our signature event, A Taste of Love, A Night of Indulgence, which is a pop-up dinner event. And we're also, you can go to our website, indulge-catering.com. Make sure you reach out to us. We would love to customize a